It's still not the best. That really sucks. Let's see if it recovers. Still dropping quite a lot of frames. So where are your rings of protection, minor or +5 or 10? I'll have to check that, Endermin. Yeah, it seems better now. I changed some stuff and settings. Let me check these. Emerald, diamond, those. Let's check the rings. So I have ring of protections on some of the people. I have minor, good point. So these were actually better. So you get a +10 version, and you have a minor one. Yeah, good, very good point. Thanks, Enderman. So I would have used the crappier one. And I was just about to say you, Terry, that you were saying about the client lease time. Yes, like last fall or earlier, like after last summer more or less, I had a issue where I had this kind of disconnection issue as well, and to fix that I changed the client lease time, because it was like I think it was 24 hours, and I think I changed it to 999 hours or something in the modem settings to stop that disconnection issue. I wonder if my modem has updated or something and reset the time or something, and now it's doing that bullshit all the time again at pretty much the same time, because that could be the case if it's back to the same issue. I'll have to check and see after the stream. That's weird. When you lifted up your hair, looked like you had green highlights to the green screen. Yeah, the green screen doesn't like my hair at all when I do this, because it's kind of transparent and bends the air. Usually home local ISP set it for 1 day, which is weird as fuck for home modem. Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter really for most of the people. If you're not doing some constant online requiring thing, if your connection blurbs for a few moments, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing live streaming or something like live gaming, where you need your constantly working connection, then it's quite important. But yeah, I'll have to check that, if the modem has somehow
Alright then.
patched it up again. 24 hours is fine, just has to be at the right time. Exactly, Underclown. I mean, if it's in the middle of the night, who cares? If it's in the morning hours, who cares?
Yes.
Huh?
They do notice too. I think it's user, because users. Yeah, that is kind of true.
For
Hard feelings. So you could have gotten some quests here, which I didn't complete now because I killed them. But that was something I knew was gonna happen.
Die!
Find stiletto.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
I should actually go through my books and see if I have multiple copies of a book and just throw all the books away. Which I have 2 copies. Poor servant.
Where there's a pick, there's a way. Quiet.
So it was actually pretty useful to come here. Those rings of protection were actually handy. Well, House Dominel is gone. So we can cross off that from the playthrough. I guess in the next playthrough, I'll have to side with these guys and do their quest lines, just to see what you get from these guys as well. Not just kill all of them. Let's go to the sanitarium next. Nedun. Hello, Nedun.
Good day to you.
A woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She is fixated on a page of a large and well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow crosses her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. Hey, Archie. What are you busy with? She snaps her book shut. I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death. But we still have a lot of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean about making them to stick? She brushes a stray lock of hair from her forehead. Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they are firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Waidwen's legacy, maybe even conquer death. She scratches behind her ear. That's the theory anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. What exactly do you need? There's a manuscript called The Theorems of Pandikram. It contains research from Pandikram's experience to detach souls. The whole of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Elder Archives. I've heard of this book back in Celona, I think, but never seen it. Many animancers speak of it with awe. The theorems could advance my research by leaps and bounds, but Grimda, the High Archivist, worships a whale, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge. And since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict the kind of information that would be useful to me. Have you seen the videos of next level Finnish car game My Summer Car? I have not. I have not. Archdeep. Maybe she could be persuaded. You're welcome to try, but you wouldn't be the first. She sighs. Look at me spilling my troubles. It's kind of you to listen, but I should really got back to my work. Anything else? Tell me about yourself. I'm an animancer at the sanitarium. Currently, I'm researching matters related to Waidwen's legacy. What's Waidwen's legacy? Waidwen's legacy refers to the rise in Hollowborn children in the Durwood in recent years. Some have also connected it to so-called biavacs that blow through air Clanfath. There's hardly any reliable data on those though, so I can't really fully comment. She sniffs. I don't much care for the term Waidwen's legacy. It reeks of superstition, but it's too prevalent to change at this point. Personally, I'd like to see people take more methodical approach to these matters rather than throwing up their hands and blaming the gods. I have some questions about the theorems of Pandikram. Chachas, tell me about the theorems. Pandikram was an animancer working in the Durwood. He had some interesting theories about essence and some other rather innovative techniques for studying it. He was able to reattach souls to bodies after death, although he wasn't able to prevent his patients from degenerating. He was controversial, to say the least, but many are starting to realize that he was merely ahead of his time. What do you mean by degenerating? They didn't twitch their hands together. Well, there seems to be a tiny problem with reattaching souls after death. The bodies will reanimate and may even retain memories and personality, but they develop a hunger for flesh, living soul-infused flesh. Without it, they start to devolve, decaying mentally and physically. If the process goes too far, which it eventually does, they become mindless corpses, attacking anything that moves. We haven't figured out a way to avoid that. And you wonder why Grimda won't share his research with you? That sounds like necromancy. Nonsense. Necromancy is magic. This is science. She emphasizes the last word. Can you throw a link to that, Archdi? Why doesn't Grimda lend you the books you need? The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rather protective of its books, especially the rarer ones. And Grimda is in particular. She hates animancy, thinks it's dangerous. I don't see how you can run the greatest library in the Durwood and be so adverse to the spread of knowledge and research, but I've never understood these religious types. A lot scolds at the Animancer. Some knowledge is best kept under lock and key. Yeah, don't click on that, Underclan. Everyone else, feel free, but not for Underclan. I'd like to know about the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. You'll find it in the Copperlane district. It's dedicated to a god of secrets and revelations. Most importantly, it houses the largest and most expansive library in the Durwood. What are the Elder Archives? The Elder Archives hold the rarest and most arcane and most powerful texts in the Durwood. Think of it as an inner sanctum of the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Needless to say, you need Grimda's permission to enter. That's all I wanted to ask. Anything else? You weren't here earlier, Archie, when Underclan was telling us that he totaled his car today. Had a car accident, so there's a reason. He's not really keen on seeing any car-related stuff today. So we are in the sanitarium now, where we can do Alot's questline. Or at least continue that. Head Warden. Wait a moment, Head Warden, I have some books to steal here. Sanitarium guard. What? You're the head warden? The statue? Nuns. You sound familiar. Oh, that's the guy who wanted the scepter.
Welcome.
An elderly woman peruses the shelves with quickness and energy that belie her age. I'm afraid I don't practice anymore, child. Too busy with my research. What do you do here? I'm an animancer, used to venture all kinds of underfunded and ill-fated trips out of Expedition Hall when I was your age, but lately I've found research better suited to my current pace. She pats a creaking knee and laughs. Nance regards you with bright, intelligent eyes. Can I help you with something else? I'd like to know more about the sanitarium. It's the official center of Animancy in Defiance Bay, founded in 2729. And before you get saucy, no, I wasn't around that time. It was built to treat elements of the mind and soul, important sort of place to have in a growing city. And its construction marked the end of Animancy's slowdown that followed the Bale Ridge accident. The Bale Ridge accident? She shakes her head. A terrible setback for the discipline. A researcher working outside the Bale Marsh shattered the souls of dozen volunteers. Her voice lowers to a growl. Of course, we'll never know what exactly went wrong because the mob tore him into pieces. This mishap bears some of the blame for the slower pace of research in the 2.5 decades that followed. But it also helped concentrate practicing animancers here in Defiance Bay. What do you know about awakenings? Not much, I'm afraid, but the sanitarium attracts experts from all over. I'm sure someone here can help you out. Imatul sent me. He said you'd be interested in these scepter pieces I found. That chatty old fishwife's been babbling about me, I see. She laughs and rolls her eyes. Never trust your secrets to a man with so much salt in his beard. Anyway, let's see what you got. Nance examines the scepter, her eyes hooded by crinkled flesh. Imatul told you true. I'll buy this. Unfortunately, the broken scepter isn't as valuable as he may have led you to believe. She steals a glance at your face, but her fingers tighten around the piece in her hands. I'll take it off you for 500. I don't think so, lady. I'll think about it. I wonder if there's a... There's the perception 15 and lore 4. I wonder if there's a quick way to increase those just for this discussion. Probably not. Let's see what potions I have. Nothing really. Potion of power. Oh yeah, that's actually true, Enmrimin. Go to an inn that gives a +2 perception, or 1 at least. And I think we have a helmet that gives... This gives 1. I think we have another one that gives 2. I'm not sure who has it, but let me see. Not you. Dexterity, athletics. I think I had a item that gives a +2 perception. I may remember wrong. No. Lilith's shawl +3 perception right there. Have you cooked anything? No. I might have some of the scrolls. There's a Lilith's shawl on her. That's a +3 already. Actually, that's right. That's enough. Just get the cloak. That should be enough. There we go. You seem a little too excited. What aren't you telling me? The corners of her mouth twitch upward, sharper than Imatul, I see. The truth is, I could repair the scepter. She runs her fingers along one of the patterned pieces. It's broken, sure enough, but the pieces themselves are in good condition. Making it whole again is a matter of alchemy, expensive alchemy. I've got to soak the broken ends in fiend's blood compound to reconnect them. Never mind the embalming work to restore the enchantments. She eyes you. I could do it to the tune of 1800 pounds. $13 resolve. I might be able to get the resolve as well. 13. I'll be back. How's my resolve? Yes, I need 1. I'm sure we have a gear for that as well. She must be wondering, what the hell is this guy doing? Just give me that cloak. Give me the cloak. I'll talk to her again. Look, do we have another item that increases shit? Can I have that? Yes, there is an unwavering resolve. Where does that come from? It's a necklace, I think. Yeah. Hello, Nance. How about those scepter pieces? I'm giving you a rare opportunity to work with Engwithan scepter. Surely you can bring the price down. Aye, perhaps if you want to bargain and haggle with every dragon blood vendor and the imp horn merchant in the city. He puffs, sagging cheeks. Very well. You can have the satisfaction of working an old woman to an early grave for 1500. Make it whole again. Yeah, you'll have the 1500. I expect you'll want to watch and see that your money is put in good use. Better get comfortable then. She lays an array of powders, potions, and other obscure ingredients on her desk. After what feels like hours, she returns to the main hall with you and presents the scepter. Looking at it, you would never know it had been broken in the first place. This may be the finest work I've ever done, if I may so, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. Examining a piece like that is a dream come true for someone in my field. She gazes at it wistfully. Take good care of it. I hope that was worth it. Engvitan's scepter. Yeah, it's kinda meh. This Engvitan weapon was restored from fragments you found in Ondra's gift. The shaft is covered with invocations and opal finial is inscribed with runes. So it's not even that good for a scepter. Who even uses scepters? Use rods, quarter staffs. Speed is good and you can enchant it more? Yeah, I guess so. Guess Alof gets that. Same damage. It's just fine and speedy. Otherwise it's exactly the same. I could actually do shocking. Nice. Should we oh, we should enchant his rapier. Primal Wind. Actually, I have materials to do lots of these. I could enchant everything with Primal Fire, basically. I could do multiples. Damaging to Drake Talons. Oof. Oh, oof. I can enchant my lead speeder. With a rapier, you can get exceptional saber. What's the rapier? I think it was a saber. Oh, it is a rapier. You're correct. Yeah, I thought it was a saber, actually. So not the rapier. I'm gonna enchant my lead speeder. Is it fine? It's not even fine. Could do fine on this. Has enchantment damaging, but it's not fine or exceptional or anything yet. I can do fine enchant on this. Oh, does fine or damaging actually replace each other? It seems so. You need a super speeder? I definitely do. So do these actually overwrite each other? strange. So they override, so you can take damage or accuracy. I guess secondary. So can you have only one in total, or can you have like one from here, and one from here? Or is it just one in total? So 4 out of 12. Oh yeah, yes. 1 out of 1, thanks. Yeah, that's... Should probably read out this thing. So you can have 1 of each. And 12 in total. Hey Bobsten. Now it's a kid slaying corrosive fine rending lead spitter of doom. Yeah, let's go with that. I guess the fine is better than the damage because of accuracy. This is quite important. Let's talk to Head Warden. Head Warden Ethelmoira. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down unblinking over the bustle of harried alchemists pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There is a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turned towards you. It has been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I'm envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanitarium? You may have a member of Leaden Key in your midst. Edward groans and the stone around his shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Many have their intrusions into our... Blah blah. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own. But a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it. They have something I need. I hope it isn't knowledge you seek. They are seldom keen to part with it. Do you have some idea who this person might be? It would be unwise to consider anyone above suspicion. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in their offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. I'm curious as to how you've come to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, he laughs. I was old, and it seemed wrong to me. A lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body, none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we are ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. To live on as a part of something I've helped to build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again, one of our animancers will humor me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you are considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. Tell me about the sanitarium. A history lesson? This is a rare pleasure. Most come here only concerned with shitting death in one way or another. We are an old institute as Durwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst was that those born with, shall we say, ill-favored souls came to populate its street in rows, thus the sanitarium. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. Back then, yes. This place owes its survival to curiosities of the wealthy, more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion in animancy, much like today. So much progress has been lost to mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We have played host to many gifted researchers and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Some of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered the work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you'll pardon my bride. Today it's, well, I can say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Durwood's most more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something they don't understand. So it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we are hiding something. We have a representative in the palace this very moment, defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the Duke, absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Durwood. I fear I ever may be swayed by all this unrest, irrational thought, though it may be. We shall see. Does anyone here know anything about awakenings? There is an animancer on the lower floor who came all the way from Revua to study them. Take the stairs down and look for a Bella Siege. Hello.
Greetings.
A bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over a still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses discussion. Have you come to sit in? Has anything unusual or suspicious been happening around here? He shakes his head. Definitely not up here. We can't be scaring of visitors and potential clients, you know. His voice becomes quiet. Downstairs is where the more esoteric research is done. I would check with the animancers there.
Welcome.
I'd like to know more about the sanitarium. He gives an eager nod. It's the mission that attracted me here. The treatment of disturbed. No one else seemed to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and dysphoric smile, all within these walls. The thought that the Duke could put an end to it with a single order, it keeps me up nights. The man who waits.
Well met,
Nice.
friend.
What is it you do here? Closest we are to the Clanfatan Wilds, we get a number of bivouac maimings every year. Survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I'm early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work. But in time, I hope to find a way to protect the people from the storm's effects.
Gods keep you.
Do you know anything about awakenings? I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise. His discussions was kind of strange because he kicked out of the conversation every time. Usually you can go back and ask another questions. I am investigating possible leading key activity in the sanitarium. Seen anything suspicious? Oh, I'm afraid I'm too wrapped up in my own research to pay any mind to what else is going around here. One of the other Animancers might know something, though. Let's go down. There's multiple quest lines in this location. Alot's quest is into here. I think the main quest is taking me here. There was that Scepter quest into here. Something else was in here as well. There was also a chest here where I was supposed to steal a book to that Necromancer guy. But I killed the Necromancer, so I'm now here to steal the book for myself. Oh, that's the Bella Sage. Let's not go there yet. Moedred. I think that's the guy whose book we are stealing. Hey Moedred. An Animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scrolls, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Hello!
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. What are you working on? My area of focus is Wicts, more specifically how to cure them. What's a Wict? A Hollowborn who received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of Animance's early efforts to cure legacy, if not a successful one. He removes his spectacles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence, they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. That's actually since we have these godlikes here with like the avian godlike paladin we have and those other godlikes, I think that's how they come into being. Hollowborns who are implanted with animal souls and maybe some other souls, and they are basically the successful product, and these are the failed products, these Wicts. Transplanting animal souls into children seems like an odd solution. We Animancers were trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. He stares at a fixed point on the far wall, and despite the controversy, it only went so far because at first it seemed to work. People called it salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. He takes a slow breath. The complications don't begin until puberty, but that's when the incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we paid dearly for our mistake, I promise you. Angry mobs hunted down Animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside, often as not. People took to calling it the cruel salvation, and many still loathe us for it. But we wanted to stop the legacy as much as anyone. The public begged for our help, and we did the best we could. I still don't know if that absolves us. Why do you study Wicts? Hey Forza. He huffs. What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? His face has reddened, and he turns away from you for a moment. He shakes his head. Animancy has an answer here, I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. I see. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I hear that a Valiant woman studies them. You should go talk to her instead. Has anything unusual been happening around here? You must be joking. This is the sanitarium. Nothing is usual down here. He pauses. Although, Now that I think of it, the patients seem more agitated lately. But they are Caedmon Azu's responsibility, not mine. Mordred nods, taking a deep breath. Then, if there is nothing else, just looking around. Then be quick about it, and don't touch anything. The sanitarium has lax visitor policy, but I don't. Without another word, he resumes his work. In a corner of Mordred's lab rests a large weathered trunk. It seems likely to contain something important, if only by virtue of its size. Unlock the trunk. You take the key you acquired from Helig and place it in the lock. It fits perfectly and turns with a solid clunk. The trunk holds no grimoires or treasures. Instead, you find yourself staring into a feral gaze and toothy mouth of a twisted, monstrous creature. Its humanoid form has been overwhelmed by bony angles and terrible claws. With a start, you recognize the wake shape of a young girl beneath elongated, malformed bones and grey skin. It crawls and leaps from the trunk, not towards you, but toward Mordred. Mordred has no time to scream before his throat is torn out. Oops. Hey, ZRZ. Well then.
Nice and quiet.
Doom, doom, doom. That was a wicked CRZ. One of these wicks. You killed his daughter, you monster. Oops. So that's why he was studying wicks. Not only I killed his daughter, kinda got him killed as well.
I shall be discreet.
Well, one less Animancer in the world. Can't be bad. The edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks.
I'll see it done.
Northward patient record Batix of the Pale Lady. Subject is a female mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject oscillates between violence and severe depression resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. Graham. Subject is male, approximately early 30s, powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of over-fragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Okay. Idleman, the Midnight Man. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays an acute dissociation and paranoid delusional tendencies causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. Uskgrim. Subject male, approximately 17 years of age. Admitted for episodes of catatonia followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial elements of the soul revealed a severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Say the deficiency all but eliminates possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. Well, that updated the questline. Note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with head warden's inevitable questions. Hey Ripley, you
Hair
know
traveler.
stuff? You finally killed the damn Drake in the endless path. Only took me 10 tries over 4 levels. Nice. I've not actually done anything in there yet. CRC. I only went to look on the first level for a bit, and then I went back home. So I need to go there and dive deep into that. A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the books in front of her. Row by row, her motions are quick and skittish, like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he is too busy to do it himself. If there's nothing else, I need to go back to work. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Me, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. But there's a visiting scholar from Revua here named Pelasage. She claims to know about them. Let's talk to Pelasage before we go there. Hello.
Gods keep you.
A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over the pages of notes. She almost walks into you. Cozy, here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I don't see the kid standing in front of me. What can I do? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. She laughs bitterly. Ah, that would be me. The lack of research objects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards. I would like to transfer Animance's success into buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already been awakened. But I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce reliable results. It's a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You are in luck. I have a volunteer. She springs to the balls of her feet, beaming. Gelarde, who is it? Alot's lips curl into a frown. I don't know about this. She grins more broadly still. Don't be silly. The process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. Yeah, go there. Okay, when am doing this quest? Mine bugged a bit. The other quest, I mean. Okay. I'll be sure to save before we do stuff in there. I beg your pardon? I jest. You Idrons are so uptight. I do not even know what the thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I jest. She rubs her hands together, getting down to business. So, I need you to sit here. She takes Alot by the shoulders and stares him to a couch. And try to relax. But don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. Indeed, his eyes are humorless. And you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The Animancer fastens thick copper bands on Alot's forehead and wrists. As she ratchets them tighter, his face twitches with a suppressed irritation. Now, I will examine your soul through my scope. She reaches into her desk and produces a long chambered tube. Knob dials and small toothed wheels run along the side of the device. It is fitted with other lenses to cut the different thicknesses and concavities. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Iselmil more? I like that lady. She raises a finger, but first we must find this cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Good luck. You would have an easier time getting straight answer out of a drunk priest of male. Alot squirms on the couch. Very well. She holds the scope on her eye and flicks a knob. To begin, tell me something personal, something from a time before your awakening. There is nothing to tell. I was just an ordinary child living in Seathwood. He looks to you. His face is set in a frown, but the rigid edges of apprehension show through nevertheless. Talk about your parents. As you speak to Alot, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It tolls softly, luring him into the midst of his own memory. The Pelicic doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling his many threads. He closes his eyes. Mother is away most of the time, with the Taines family, but I always know when she's coming home. Father's bottles accumulate like storm clouds on the horizon. His fits of temper become swifter and more violent. It still shames me knowing that her hemneck to another man supports us better than his labors as a steward. This is good. I'm starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. She bites her tongue as she twists one of the dials. I am in my 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little because when she's around, he's usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles, that my flame shields are unstable. He's furious that I have failed, and the mother's presence reminds him that he has failed too. First blow takes me by surprise. One moment I'm sweeping the kitchen, the next I'm sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at the flecks of my blood on the tile. His boots glistening with fresh polish thud across the floor. He kicks me in the stomach, and I curl up to shield my vitals, but it's pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves you something else exposed. Still huddled on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat under the vision of the kitchen, and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pinprick against the field of black. His jaw locks and his eyes twitch beneath their lids. Maricho, Pelicic furiously cranks the knobs and along her scope. He's hypnotized himself with this old memory. You've got to bring him out of it, quickly. I almost have it. This is just a memory. It isn't real. Alot's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. And with about those riddles you see in the space twixt your eyes, they real enough for ye. Pelicic sucks a deep breath through her teeth. That's it. I'm seeing a shift in his essence. Something's spreading and congealing. She glances at you over her scope. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What brought you here? Cracking bones and voices high in air. That warm molasses feeling that crisps down your gut when crisis is nigh. That's different. Belfetto, we have flares of totally distinct essence. She shots shorthand notes on the pages next to her and turns one clicking knob of her scope. Now try to get the two of them talking. Isilmur, tell Aloth why you have awakened. For he's the one who needed me. He's the one who needed me, hiding in his own bone bag like a turtle in its shell. Aloth's face twists in fury. I never turned it over to you. Good, yes, very good. She rests her scribbling only to make another adjustment to her scope. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the spaces that he leaves empty. She prompts you with a circling of her wrist, quill still in hand. Go on. Aloth, what is this about this ceding space to Isilmur? He grits his teeth painfully. I've given her nothing. She usurps me in my own body. Aye, and I lend him a pair too. You should ask with what I did to that old man of his. How the last time he laid a hand on us, I break it in 3 places. Aloth's head jerks to the side. That wasn't your decision. It's never been your decision. I was awakening, but now I'm stuck with you, and damned if I let your ninnying drag us both through the skipper. Ah, very good. She lowers her scope and consults her notes. I think I've finally got something we can work with. I've tracked Isilmur's essence throughout the exchange. She had a particularly high density index during the most heated portions of their argument, and her essence seems to be localized most clearly in the lower portion of the subject's left ribcage. That's right around spleen, which of course means she's triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. Alot blinks back at you, and in the midst of her perturbation, you are not quite sure who's looking out of his eyes. That's utter horseshit. How gracious. She glares at him. Yes. Never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation? You are close. I think Dieselmur's appearances are related to potential source of trouble for Aloth. Pulisic carefully scratched her jaw, her gaze darting between you and Aloth. I suppose that could be true. She jots another note. I'll have to check this again. This against other research. He removes the copper bands. Well, and good for you. But what does this mean for me? Pulisic frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you catch her stealing a glance at you over the pages. Isilmur tries to take control from you when she thinks you can't face a problem on your own. You can't let her make these decisions for you. My thoughts exactly. I'll have to be more careful about her from now on. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Balnar. He does not look at Pelazic. She sets her notes on her desk and returns to her scope. Well, I hope this has been as useful to you as it has been to me. I finally have material worth publishing. You'll be toast of revue, Fendre Alot. His grimace melts into a crooked smile. Advancing the right-wise principles of animancy, just what you have always wanted. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. Pelagis is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Alot is holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them into his cloak when he catches you watching. He holds a finger to his lips, his eyes widen and imploring. Please, I don't want my personal information published like this, especially not after her nonsense. Fair enough, but do it quietly. He hides the papers in his cloak. Not to worry. We'll see do this on our own. So that was his whole quest line. Nothing else? That feels anticlimactic, to say the least. It didn't really help or tell anything, to be honest. Let's talk to the statue upstairs. Surely that cannot be just the end of the Alot's quest line. Just a dead end like that.
Yes?
See if he has anything to tell me about. So now you understand a little more about Isilmur. If your English is nose. No thanks to that animancer. My spleen, black bile, come on. Pelagic's methods were flawed, but you still learned something, didn't you? Only because you and I have a leak of good sense between us. But the average person, showed them a shiny gadget in the hands of an expert and they'll believe anything. she will resurface later on, I think. Yeah, I'm sure that cannot be just the end of that. I don't know. I think you would be more pleasant without your spleen. Oh, hilarious. We should have her take a look at you. I wonder what she would like to remove then. Why did you want to take Pelasic notes? He gives you a sidelong glance. Like I said, I didn't appreciate her prying. Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Well, you. I found records that Azo may be running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Guideman Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cademan. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient ward. I'm granting you immediate access to so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Annoying to have to run back and forth between these levels when there's always this loading screen in there. Not agitate the patients? Yeah, sure. Exactly. Flesh construct? Okay. I'll steal that chicken. There's one named guy here, Freyol. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. What do you know about this Animancer Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Many Animancers could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin for their experiments, but Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened to Azo? Frail's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be the one of the brightest in Durwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was the ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. Suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether, can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know, that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Ondra's gift? No, tell me. They call them buyos, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Ozo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copperlane. He was so excited. But then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And then he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him. but I'm glad they are letting him treat people again. Do you know where I might find Azo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Have any of the patients here been acting unusually? Well, there's Batixa, who relieves a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idleman, who they say only has half a soul and who has found collecting the faces of others. Who was found collecting faces of others because he believes his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from the normal behavior, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatments. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. He was Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Probably CRZ. Could be inspiration for that guy. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen a guard allow a visitor. Just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. Why are you in here? Behind her hair, her cheeks flush. I don't want to say. You'll think less of me. When you blush, it brings out the color of your eyes. Her blush deepens, and she ducks her head forward to bury her face deeper beneath her hair. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Ondraskift, got by mending clothes and on the other kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noble one comes in, wants his fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. This shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. I remembered being a noblewoman myself in another life. People doting over me, men doting over me. Me. The best food, the best beautiful home, all the things you'd never care to dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around on me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it. And I started to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must have I done to deserve it? Maybe the gods took offense to your overindulgence. Frail size. Maybe they did. I wish I had known back then when I was a noble. Maybe I would have done things differently. Can I have some tea? Hey.
A blade in the dark.
Be cautious. Be constant.
These flesh constructs are kind of...
Nice and quiet.
Yeah, we have just a flesh constructs in the basement. Don't mind those. Okay. I don't think so. Okay, I'll take that then.
A blade in the dark.
On the hunt.
It looks like there's something there. But I don't know how to get there. It's like there's a secret door here or something. It's like an alarm going off. You're going to have to fight us later. Yeah, pretty much. ZRD. Especially when we are after a potential leaden key guy near. Well, this cannot be very strange, not strange, I mean very dangerous patience when it's just open doors everywhere. Just open for business. Don't care. So I cannot get to the North Ward. Let's go talk to the Mr. Azo. And save before that. Age of Wonders is 66% off. The new one, Night Basilisk.
I'll see it done.
The Raven Wing. Mace one-handed. Coordinating. Nice. That is quite nice. Damaging 3. Legend tells of a druid, wise and powerful, who traveled accompanied by a flock of ravens. In battle, the druid would assail his enemies with his mace, while the ravens descended in a chaotic swarm, distracting and flanking his foes. Years of coordinated attacks, the druid and the druid's lingering magic are said to have gifted his mace with an enchantment that lends the wielder similar gifts. The mace is finely wrought and lightweight, making it maneuverable, if not very resilient against direct attacks. Against a distracted opponent, however, a single blow often proves quite sufficient. Yoink. Do you actually... Oops, wrong. What weapons does this guy actually use? Peasant. So not maces. Did you use maces? No. I have no idea. I only know that there was a lot of complaints about the game at release.
Where there's a pick, there's a way.
Blight, Golan, Wolfheart. Stun and knock duration, preservation, and damage reduction. Blight, Golan, Wolfheart is said to have been blessed by the Lord of Hunt himself. A human hunter showing skill with bow and arrow beyond any before seen caught Galawain's attention one day. Galawain proposed a bargain. If the hunter could best him in a hunting contest, Galawain would present her with armor that would bestow her the power of a wolf. For a week, both hunters tracked their respective quarry through the woods, and when the contest ended and the hunter had felled the most game, true to his word, Galawain presented her with Wolfheart, which gave her the crafty and evasive nature of its namesake. Can I steal this? Let's see on the druid. More damage reduction. I don't know. It's barely better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep the Gambezon. Hey adventurers, how's it going? It's kind of crap. Well, let's keep it on you. What is your armor, by the way? Just a fine breastplate? Defiant. Oh well. Mostly just random maps. Yeah, doesn't sound very good. A round-faced balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scolds.
What is the meaning of this?
Ethelmore told me you are not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmore hasn't done much good for anyone since he had his soul moved into an image object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If Animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We would all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Read Seras. We would know nothing about life or death or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark, with no clue as to why. I never thought I would find myself in agreement with a statue, but Ethelmore's right about this fellow, at least. He sneers at Azo. How easily ambition masquerades as prudence. I'll bet he's fooled even himself. Never, Hyper. More or less. Unless you buy me a new PC as well. You toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish.
Are you from Read Seras? Are you Wydwen himself, risen to smite me for my heretical belief in learning who I am and why I exist? Please. You are afraid because men have taught you to be afraid. Because they were taught to be afraid. These things are only beyond our comprehension because of the fears of people like you. Who will solve Wydwen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an Animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it. Now that Ethelmore's involved, I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. It does require quite a lot from a PC, Hyper, especially to stream, and my PC is garbage, so... I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? Azo's nostrils flare and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Admer, that smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything, I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove bitter taste from his mouth. I'd like access to Northward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing with them.
Those are private! You have no right!
Only 160,000 people streaming it. Yeah. Only. He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a curl simmering beneath his breath and deep skull compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother somebody else. Well, thank you. Is this my face? Tell me. No. These patients seem pretty nuts. Graham. This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach, he staggers back to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him farther away from you. He cries out a bizarre primal utterance, like nothing you have heard. You can't hide from me, Ledenki spy. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all. Alot makes a noise of disgust. Those Animancers did this to him. You can see what comes of their meddling. Azor ran experiments on you against your will, didn't he? He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time you can perceive his soul within your ken. It is misshapen as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Well, let's peer into his soul. You project out towards the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You are in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rodent balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across the books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show that he was right. He thanks you. Thank you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you turn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Thank you. Tea time.
Kahvia pulla.
Thank you.
Vielä pullaa.
No. You have butter now.
Eikö tuolta vierestä tinkautta?
So you could make something nice.
Ei varmaan tänään pitää osaa varmaan jotakin erityisyyttä.
Continue searching. Another night, heavy footstep outside your door. Coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being, just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Decoupled from Graham's soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. A flesh giant.
Haluatko keksiä kakkua vai mitä?
I don't know. Something nice. Something soft. Can we do that?
Ei me varmaan pitäisi mitään. Mä tuin impulttia, mutta meillä varmaan se ei hirveästi samaa se impultista. Mutta jos me katsotaan impulttia, niin pelätään.
Maybe. Well, maybe not tomorrow, but
Ai. Niin on.
we'll see. I did a hyper, but she's not very keen on. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, hawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead. The occasional blink is his only movement. And it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. Reach for his soul. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing fleshed column in a silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds. The same stops every time, misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you, collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing forward toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself quickly, and you feel the strength of hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel. You are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors, unheeded by the other constructs and scrutinized only by the very untrusted eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tired seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. Now, you see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl. But this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks and the crowd applauds, with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. Bear witness, he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down on the side of the man's brow, but the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to an awe of crystal, as the crystal globe fills with radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the globe crawls through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. Let me drink something quickly. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be. for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings, and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. For in a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with scientist's concern. He looks back at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you take a plodding step forward, then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him an eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down on the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders, all lies upon lies that form the thick web of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive with tall device encasing an Hydra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to the reality, and the once Catholic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of a man who caused your awakening that gazes out from that borrowed husk, a watcher. You made me into a watcher. I need you to undo it. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems for that moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look. You hunger. Hunger for answers that elude you. It knows at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with a startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only a dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Well then. I should have raised that before.
Hey.
Quay?
Yeah?
Hey.
Tell me,
Like you said, those flesh constructs definitely were here just waiting to be killed.
How may I help?
Let's do a
I'm ready.
wall in
Hey.
there.
Ready!
Make sure to kill everyone before talking to Azo, okay?
What is it? Ready!
Aye?
Atixa is a druid.
Hey.
Ah shit, I didn't sleep at all. That sucks. This ability would have been really great right now.
I'm ready.
What?
Need something?
Yes.
Aye?
What hit Eder so much? No idea.
Let me try again.
Well?
It's kinda difficult to see what's going on in there, in that mess.
Yes?
If I had to guess, it was the
What is it?
caster there who was doing a lot of damage,
Aye?
which is why this caster must die.
Ready.
No, you. I need something stronger. I'm ready.
How about you don't go in flames then?
Don't even...
Fermento Solias.
Guys.
Tell me.
Hey.
That's it.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Ready.
Leave it to me! So much for you! Leave it to me! Leave it to me!
That's it.
No loot? I guess so. So I guess he's
Keeping
the
an
one who's
eye
exit
out.
there. But there are still the convicts. Oh. These are easy.
That's it!
So that exit is now open.
Keeping an eye out.
Let's go this way first. Can you stop yelling there? It's fine.
There's something ahead.
Drugs. Nice. Yeah, that's my shotgun, or my blunderbuss adventurous. It's such a nice weapon for killing these things. Just boom, you're dead. Hey, how's it going? What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Asu's face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly? Look, it had to be done. Ethelmore and the others, they took everything from me. Everything that was this close. I had to know. I had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I had succeeded. If I had something that I could make all those hollow investments into something like a real person. And with a few more patrons and few years of research, who knows? Should I have killed some monsters as ZRC actually? Instead of talking to him now? No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Nice teacup. It is quite nice. I bought it just for me. Hey, Saving Neon. Why I have to risk everything here, working in secret? It's why you have to lie to Ethelmore for me. Tell him you've cleared me of all suspicion. I would rather you face judgment. The judgment day has come with my shotgun. Asu's research journal. I'm close to a breakthrough. I have found an ample source of essence now, and the vessels have responded positively to infusion with the proxy. Human trials are next logical course.
Light, flame, and sound.
It's kind of like the
Ourselves.
pistol we have as well. This one. No, not the disappointer. The forgiveness. This is very nice. They would mock him, telling him there was no way he was going to take them to jail. You're right. KL would reply, I bring forgiveness, which is this pistol he used to kill people. What game is this? Looks like Diablo. This is a Pillars of Eternity, Saving Neon. And it's a traditional RPG, basically.
That's it!
A very, very good one in that. If you have played stuff like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale and those, or if you know about those games, it's basically a new game in that game genre. Diablo. Well, it shares the same isometric viewpoint adventures, and it kind of does look like older Diablos, really. But instead of being an action RPG, it's just a plain RPG. Has quite a lot of action still, though. Yeah, it reminds me of Baldur's Gate as well.
That's it!
Because if someone told me this is Baldur's Gate 3, it would be... I would not say no, that it is not Baldur's Gate 3. Because it is literally that. Oh. What? Oh. How about you don't play with the door? What are these guys there? They look like wicks. So they are probably wicks. You still have the CDs? I actually have the collector's editions of the older Baldur's Gates as well. I found it very cheap in one of the
Slowly now.
thrift shops in Helsinki, I think. It was a really nice find. Let's see the quest there. And it was pretty much totally unused. Look at you. Well, most of the time I find nothing when I go to those. There's quite often some interesting stuff. Where did the guy go? You'll have to use the dog box to play it now. Nice. It's good to see you two saving Neon. Work to be done. Good luck with your work saving Neon. There's this quest line I need to subdue the guy, but I cannot find the guy. Oh, hell.
Francis!
Why are you guys angry at me suddenly?
What is it?
I?
Yeah, this seems kind of strange. It's a bug, you believe? Yeah, that doesn't seem like what's supposed to happen there.
Of course.
Light, flame,
Those,
and sound.
Strange guys vanished.
Ourselves.
The wits just standing there kind of strangely. Just vanished. Yeah, probably Enderman. I'm just confused by this quest. Subdue Uskrim. He must be subdued. So I can learn from him how I might be able to undo my awakening. And I just gonna find the guy. I'm not sure that's supposed to happen like that. So I don't think I killed him. This seems very strange. Like, I may have broken something. Let's see. What's it called? Uskrim. Journal should say, I uncovered the Latin key operation at the sanitarium. He has the ability to possess those with weak souls, and he was using one of the patients to influence Guideman Asos animals research. Once you were according to the wiki. Yeah, I've broken something. Someone asking, so how can we subdue him? I tried 2 times, once with weapons and once with bare fists. Both times he died and the mission does not go forward, it seems. Kill all enemies, go upstairs, steal the statue, go out of house. A courier should appear. What is supposed to happen here? I talk to the guy, he freaks out, sends golems attacking me. I clear the basement, go upstairs, steal the statue while outside, nothing happens. There's supposed to be NPC courier walking to you and giving your next phase, right? I don't have any saved games earlier. Would have to restart the whole game if there is no solution to this bug. That part of the quest should be marked finished. There is no way to subdue him, as he will be destroyed when his body is no longer possessed. You got the courier after the quest, but if I recall right, there are several parts of this quest line, so I might have finished parts in different orders. That's really strange. Well, let's go outside, kill everyone, and see. Talk to the statue and see if the quest line progresses. I don't care about killing all the animals, to be honest. We'll just smack them in the head, if that's fine.
A blade in the dark.
I'll try to sneak out of here without killing too many.
I'll stay out of sight.
You've done enough here. Leave this place immediately. Ah. Oh, hey. Now it actually reads. So there we go. So that's the place where we should be. Now we just need to get out of here. Something definitely bugged out in there, or was very strangely done. Kind of felt something wasn't exactly correct with the progression of the quest there. And there's the courier. So yes, it is working. Dundrodro Messenger, beg your pardon, I have a message for you. You are summoned to Hedred House, where Lady Web wishes to meet you as soon as possible. Not much you can do in these bars without Lady Web knowing about it. At least that's what I'd always heard. Guess it's true. How did you know where to find me? Well, it's Lady Web. She knows everything. Tell me about Lady Web. Do you not know Lady Web? She's well, no one's seen her exactly in a long time, but she's the mistress of Dundrodro. Has been as long as anyone can remember. He pauses, eyeing passers-by with suspicion. Quietly he continues. She's supposed to be older than anybody, and she never leaves her room. Some say she's wasted away and just she's just a pile of bones kept animated by dark magics. She's still at it, best anyone can tell, learning things, keeping us safe, pulling the strings behind the throne too, it's said. Has a ring of ciphers doing her bidding, telling her everything that goes on. You do wrong in this country. Before you go asking the gods for forgiveness, best ask Lady Web first. What's Dundrodro? A whole mess of ciphers run out of Hedred House. They make it their business to keep the peace, but they don't like you to see them do it. Problems in this city have a way of going away on their own, and when that happens, you can make a pretty good guess as to why. Where can I find a Hedred House? It's just over there, my lord. Southwest corner of Dragonbury. You'll find the lady upstairs. Okay. So yeah. It continues. The quest was kind of strange. Whoa. Chaos. As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real, the recollection of emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. The apparition's brow is tensed, a look of concern playing across its face. The other
missionaries say you have been neglectful of your duties.
My mind has been elsewhere.
Oh? And what troubles you?
The pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you are about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence. I wish to leave the order. Theos folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth, thoughtful.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
The people we intend to convert, they committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. The apparition exhales slowly and its lips press together, a sympathetic rapport in its eyes. It places its hand on your shoulder.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Surely the gods would do better to destroy us all and start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
Is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Neither words, nor wealth, nor battle will end this suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
A note in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely. Something warm and soothing, and it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will. Let's go talk to the Lady Web. We're literally gonna spend probably the whole day today in this city. Lady Web.
Nice and quiet.
Where there's a pick, there's a way.
This woman clutches a thick stack of parchment with spindly, wrinkled fingers, their flesh stretched thin to near translucence with extreme age, a gossamer veil over pale blue veins. Ink splotches and candle burns and scars of innumerable slices from the edges of scrolls dot and stripe her hands like a quilt of patterned after some great indescribable truth. She does not look up from her reading.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Aothis look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messaging. They failed me so many times of late, I nearly sent a cipher after you instead. So this is the Watcher who took over Cad Noir. Oh, don't look so surprised. It isn't an attractive expression. I wouldn't be where I am for long if I let details like that escape me.
Whatever, Granny. This is exactly what I would picture Aloth's mother to be like.
And this fiasco in the sanitarium that you seem to have gotten yourself into the middle of. What in blazes possessed you to stir that nest of trouble?
I'm investigating a strange group.
Strange does not begin to describe them. The practices of the Leaden Key defy all reason. You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year alone trying to get someone inside their ranks. As it is, we only have our suspicions about who is in the group and what they intend. Which I suppose means We have much in common with them. I asked you here because I wanted to know what your interest was in all of this. I thought perhaps we might help each other. Why are you looking for the Leaden Key?
One of their members caused my soul to awaken. I need him to reverse it. She closes her eyes and the lids flicker. Then her face goes still and her mouth parts, little more than a sliver, and then her hand briefly drops open, spilling some of her parchments on the ground. The pages wafting around her legs like leaves of dying tree. Her fleshy eyelids peel back, and her gaze is immediately upon you.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Theos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. One of the most elusive and dangerous men Eora has ever known.
That Theos name was the spoiler from Sagani's conversations. She mentions the name Theos even before we knew anything about the Theos, and that's getting fixed in the next patch. How do you know I seek Theos?
Because you have seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in his ceremonial garb, it seems. Must have been a special occasion.
You spying, mind-probing lady. Granny. What can you tell me about Theos?
More than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than 2,000 years. If rumors are to be believed, Theos was the one who created it. What scraps of evidence exist suggest that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man. Awakened during adolescence with all the knowledge and experience of all his lifetimes. The plots he orchestrates sometimes take hundreds of years to bear fruit. Needless to say, this is not the natural order of things. But he is said to be one of Woedica's favored, and that old bat was never one to let rules get in the way of favoritism. That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul, and he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are weak enough. Often it is for elaborate deceptions, but sometimes he simply forces them to kill themselves. He is not known for his generous supply of pity. He is also not one to show himself in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in whatever the group plots now, it may be your only chance to find him. And once you do find him, if you can find him, I would not hold my hopes too high if I were you. He is a driven, single-minded man. He will not have the slightest concern for your problems.
Nice, Yazi. What do you want from me?
Keep me informed. The Leaden Key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. I can only guess as to what they intend. You seem to have a knack for turning the stones they've crawled beneath. Keep turning them. Dunreed Row will not stop you.
That sounds pretty bad, Night Basilisk.
Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both of us. In your case, it will surely point you to Theos. In return, I will share our knowledge with you as we learn it, and provide you with what assistance I can.
And if I refuse?
Then you would look foolish because it is a standing offer. There is no need to refuse. If you find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
Maybe, Knight. Maybe. I know the game, though. How do you know so much about Theos?
The same way I come by all my knowledge. Exhaustive research, spying, bribery, perhaps some less savory measures. Whatever the knowledge demands, I pay in full. There is nothing of greater value. Unfortunately, with Theos, there is also nothing more scarce. He has covered his tracks far too well. His manipulations of the course of history are lost to time now, though I believe they were many.
What else is there to know about the Leaden Key?
Precious little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one member knows the identity of more than a handful of other members. They are kept in the dark of missions they are not involved in, or sometimes of those they are involved in. They exist to hide secrets they themselves don't know. If you can imagine how gullible someone must be for that to appeal.
Sounds like the Veil worshippers, to be honest.
Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary. And he does not fail.
There is something I can tell you about the Leaden Key's operations.
Well, let's hear it.
I found Theos in Brackenbury Sanitarium impersonating a patient. He was trying to damage the public's opinion of animancy.
Forgive me, it is unlike Theos to leave witnesses. He must be furious. He did not aid you as you'd hoped, I take it? Well, take heart. With any luck, when he has finished his business, he will surely come and find you again.
Oh yeah,
if only
thanks.
to kill you while you sleep.
That's really reassuring.
This news of yours makes sense, of course. To dabble in animancy is to puzzle over the secrets of the gods. This would not be the Leaden Key's first action against it. But if this is connected to their other activities, we may be in for something on a much larger scale. If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, we may be able to put a stop to this.
That's all. I have other questions.
Yes?
Tell me more about the Dunrud Row.
All the things there are to know in this world, and you ask me about work. Deerwood is a rebel country. Conflict is in its blood. If you think a few guards posted in our cities keep chaos at bay, you are very new to town indeed. We are Deerwood's cipher investigators, of course. But what we really are is its last barrier against anarchy. People are more at ease when they believe they are watched over by someone more enlightened than they are. It pacifies them. So that is the image we foster.
So you're basically psionic secret service agency.
And we do try to be enlightened for their sake. The knowledge we gather here is Deerwood's standing army in many ways. We learn what's vital and we act on it while Deerwood sleeps, blissfully unaware of the terrifying truths all around them. I wish I could tell people the things I know sometimes, but the truth is I don't think many of them could bear it.
How did you come to be here?
Me? I started this place, in a different time, under a different Duke. I impressed the Duke with my research and my work ethic, and he became possessed of the notion that I would be ideal to lead a secret network of gifted investigators. I don't know how such an idea got into his head.
How old are you? She gives half-hearted gasp and covers her mouth with her crumpled fingers. You wicked man. Where are your manners? Were you raised without a shred of decency?
I lost count ages ago. Such a strange thing to celebrate, getting closer to death. Oh, I've had my share of work done to prolong my existence, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not done here. there are things I still wish to learn. And I'll be the effigy if I let Bereth carry me off before I'm through. There was a time when I considered enlisting the theorems of Pondgrum to extend my life indefinitely. I found the thought of devouring my political enemies to sustain my own life greatly appealing. I must have gone soft with age.
Nice lady. Yeah, I heard about that Night Basilisk. It's so bullshit. Are you psychic?
If you are hoping I can look at your hand and tell you whom you should marry, you can just wipe that notion from your mind. I do not know what will happen tomorrow. That is what I pay spies for. Being a cipher is not unlike being a watcher. You notice more about what is already there.
For some reason, my cipher skills are a bit lacking. I notice nothing happening anywhere.
Many can hold an object and know where it's been, or peer into the thoughts of people around them. They can also sometimes affect those thoughts, but that would be unethical, of course. A tiny, talented few pick up so much about the world around them, they can get images of things to come, but these are fleeting and unreliable.
Yeah, definitely. Night Basilisk. Well, this is part of the main quest, so obviously there's a lot of stuff in this. But yeah, it doesn't really matter if they are selling something like that, unless they at some point start selling exclusive fatalities as well. In something like that. It's kind of slopey path right there when they suddenly start selling exclusive stuff like that as a consumable DLC. Pirate Queen from Mass Effect. Is she Zero Z? The same voice actor? Because she does sound familiar. You said you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Who said I was talented? I don't. Least not that I can trust. And with me, it's only ever about one thing anyway.
What's that?
A quiet day at home.
Yeah, I'm sure she has been a voice actor in some other game as well, because she does sound familiar. Is there a Lord Webb?
There was.
What happened to him?
He believed in dying with dignity. He was old-fashioned that way, my husband. We saw the world very differently, he and I. But he was good to me while he lasted.
Let's talk something else. I have other
Yes?
questions. Let's talk something else.
Try your best not to die out there.
I'll try. I informed.
How fares your search?
I guess I have to go search a bit more and inform her later on. Like we have those other two quest lines on the main quest line. I think we need to go search that we got from the Leaden Key earlier. Sanitarium was one part only. Achievement unlocked gossip. Nice. What actually? What achievements do I have? What is this? Update news? Okay. I've got 3 achievements so far on the game. I don't really want to look into the achievements. I just look what I have. Act 1. Find an adventure with all companions and 5 upgrades in the stronghold. Your class has now been advanced to Old Housewife. Great. Let's see. What do we have? So we need to go through Death's Gaze. There's something in the Durford village and this tower. In a very distant district of Defiant Space. So that's the Heritage Hill we need to go to for that. And then we have a lot of stuff here. We'd go get the book from Nedun. For Nedun. Child of the Five Sons. Wailing Banshee, we got that. Let's do the Banshee one next. Actually, let's go to the Copper Lane first. Let's go through there. My party direly needs rest. It needed rest before we even went to the sanitarium. And now we're done with that, so let's go rest. We also have a lot of stuff to sell, I think, now. No, actually, no. The sanitarium didn't have that much garbage. Like, these guys have very low HP, and we've pretty much used all the once per rest abilities. I've not actually gone to the Salty Mast at all yet, Endermin, so that's actually something we could do. The Raven Wing is actually not a magical item. This one doesn't show us magical either. Well, we have some junk to sell. Probably sell these minor protection rings as well. Not very needed. So there's some money for me. Oh, I sold the club. Oops. Well, I can go buy it from here if I need it. I did replace it, so it's probably totally useless. There really should be a button that shows all magical items, and not just all the garbage. On the co-op channel, they are talking about all broken AA games. It's funny how it's all the games you don't like playing. Yep. Annihilation. Did you...
Tell me.
Did you use that? You do. Let's buy Warhammer for you, lady. And there's the Pike's Pride as well. It's not that good, to be honest. I don't really care for that. Yeah, let's buy that. And I'll give you... There we go. You can go Hammer Paladin now. So this gives you +5 all defenses. And this gives you smash. For defense. To be fair, they have a point, especially now with AI. Any pride in releasing that not broken terrible games has pretty much gone down the train.
Ah.
Let's say the Laura. Someone sold something interesting in here as well. Not you. Peregrine? I think I've bought pretty much everything I need from these guys.
Hey.
I have actually a quest to return here, so maybe might wanna do that while we are here. If you can play 1 hour without an annoyance bug missions, it's hallelujah. Well, it's kind of true, but on the other hand, people look old games kind of through rose-tinted glasses and don't remember what bugs and stuff the old games have. It's not like the older games, older AA games especially, weren't buggy as well. They had a lot of bugs as well. And annoyances and stuff like that. Is this the warmer you wanted? Osric wavers a moment in disbelief. He looks at you, then back at the breastplate. He reaches for it slowly, as if expecting it to disappear before he can touch it. How did you manage this? You were right about affidavit. Unfortunately, Penholm forced me into a fight. A shame it ended like that. But he's the lying weasel who started this. You did all I asked, and you are owed much. He withdraws a leather coin purse from his pocket and hands to you. Stop by Sonil's shop on the other side of the hall. She sells some of the best gear in the city, and I'll see that she opens her inventory to you. Nice. What does this armor do anyway? Osric looks around, trying to appear casual. It's nothing really, just a keepsake. He tries to look you in the eye, but then when he does, he appears to reconsider. He sighs. It commemorates the Order of Magran, highest order of valor, awarded to the dead, never the living. Us Durwudans, real Durwans, we don't have nobility or birthrights, unless you are some copper fucker from Aether. All we got is the honor we bring to our family name. The Order of Magran is, well, they don't give it out too much. Not often you see a member of the dozens whose revolutionary tires are as good as he says they are. So this, he pauses, considering the weathered metal, a pale image of its former shelf, but still catching the light, is something to live up to. Some of the Bako missions recently are just a little bit too much like the Dungeon Keeper game. Oh, we just didn't bother yet with this session part of the game, no worries. Here are some shameless placeholder objects. Yeah, pretty much true. There is very good gear in the RZRZ you can find. Definitely go. Yeah, nice. Cursed early access.
A simple test.
Hello, show me your wares. Exceptional arbalest, exceptional crossbow, exceptional hunting bow. Fun. Radiators of all-consuming rage. 2 might, 1 constitution. Holy. When the husband and the children of Elena Skycleaver were captured by Terwin the Blackhearted, she and her troops besieged his castle, hoping to negotiate her family's return. Instead, Terwin had them impaled on the battlements while Elena watched from below. Upon seeing the atrocity, Elena abandoned all rational thought and ran screaming toward Terwin's castle, first in anguish, then in rage. To the surprise of all present, Elena suddenly stopped screaming and burst into flames, supposedly touched by Magran herself. Terwin's soldiers loosened their arrows, but Elena didn't even slow. She struck the gate castles like a battering ram, bursting through and scattering Terwin's soldiers. Desperate to escape her fury, those who remained drew their master in her path. Her flames engulfed him, and no one knows if the unearthly scream that followed came from him or from her, but within minutes both of them had burned to ashes. Only these braziers survived. These braziers are made of bronze carved in dark green patina. Etched into the metal is a picture of slender humanoid engulfed in flames. Strangely enough, the humanoid has no head, only 2 blue orbs where the eyes would normally be. dubstep dragon things. Yeah. Although this did had a lot of bugs at the release, Night Basilisk, the patch really fixed a lot of issues. And we just had the bug in the sanitarium with the quest line, which kind of was annoying, but other than that, it's been quite good. One crash so far. Dandy hat of the diseased yak. Minus intelligent plus 2 resolve. The legend behind this hat is that it once belonged to a famed prince of a small kingdom that was conquered and absorbed into the Adrian Empire. The prince and his court were known for their outlandish dress, but not unfortunately for prowess in battle. In fact, when the prince learned that the Adrian army was marching toward him, he threw a fabulous party to welcome the invaders. This had survived the war and subsequent occupation, and has been traded in many dark corner by those wishing to further their social standing with panache. Lined with garish purple silk and adorned with large sartreuse feather, the hat makes a strong, if questionable, fashion statement. Nice. Yeah, pretty much right. Snerf's Folly. Oh, that is a pretty good ring as well. Once belonging to a wife of a noted animals are known as a Snerf. This white gold wedding ring is set with central pink stone flanked by 2 small diamonds. The shine of the gems stands in stark contrast to the grimy worn bind. It is rumored that while his love was ill and on the brink of death, the desperate Animancer performed a radical experiment to merge her soul with his. According to most versions of the tale, her already weakened body was unable to withstand the strain of the binding. While this process extinguished a little life left in her body, it overwhelmed her soul, fragmenting it into oblivion. Overcome with guilt and despair, the once great man lived out the last of his days in a Svev-induced madness, holding on to the hope that he might somehow glimpse traces of her soul amongst his own pitiful reflection. Yeah, 2 constitution and 1 resolve. That's very, very nice ring. Bile Stompers. Fetid Caress and Corrode DR bonus. These boots were created in a small village in the Living Lands that is bordered by a toxic swamp and frequently overrun by venomous weeds. Though the hard soles have withstood years of use, the edges of the leather show signs of corrosion. It's believed that some of the venom has seeped into the boots. Cloak of the Fox and Hunter. Summon noble creature. Will and reflex. The urban legend tells a story of a hunter who spent days in the woods trying to find food for her family. In her first trap, she caught a boar. "Please, great hunter," the boar begged when she approached. "I'm no ordinary boar. I am the ruler of my kind. If you free me, I will reward you greatly." So the hunter freed the boar, who ran off laughing, never to be seen again. Her second trap caught a turkey. "Please, powerful hunter," the turkey said when she approached. "I'm no ordinary turkey. I'm the ruler of my kind. If you free me, you will get rewards such as that you cannot imagine." So the hunter released the turkey, who also ran off laughing, never to be seen again. The final trap held a fox. "Please, mighty hunter," the fox began as she approached. "I will not free you," said the hunter. "Already I have lost 2 wonderful meals. I will not lose a third. If you truly will reward me, then I will free you, but you must leave something of yours behind, so I know you will return." So the fox left behind the length of its legs, enchanting the hunter's cape with its grace and reflexes. The fox returned to its kind, but was rejected for its short-legged appearance. "You look like a dog," her fellows taunted. No longer welcome among her kind, the fox returned to the hunter and offered another deal. She would aid the hunter in all endeavors as a payment for her life. This cloak represents the bargain between the fox and the hunter. Rather than worn, this cloak is tanned with light splotches. When pulled over the head, corners look like erect dog ears. Conversion service cookies offering. I have not. Knight. Munakra Aret. Will Whispers of Treason. This exquisite piece was crafted by alchemists for a secret society of aristocrats in Old Valia. Throughout its history, it was it has graced the ocular orbits of scheming nobles, influential politicians, and charming salesmen. The brass monocle features intricate gear and leaf filigree among the rim. It confers sophistication and carries unmistakable scent of old money. You can claim a DRM free version by providing a CD key for the game. It's only 5 games right now, along with Witcher, which you can do from a year ago. Nice. That is very nice. Berserker's Belt. Only usable by Barbarian. Frenzy Duration. This belt was a product of strange collaboration between famed Barbarian Strungbr and Animancer of comparatively lesser fame. Strungbr was determined to extend the period in which he could cast himself into a fearless frenzy, for it was a means by which he survived most of his many battles. The Animancer in turn was much intrigued by the opportunity to investigate Affliction of Temper. Over a period of time, the trigger for Strungbr's rage was isolated, and the belt was imbued with a spell that mimicked the effect. The resulting damage done to the laboratory ensured that the pair never collaborated again, but Strungbr was very pleased with the belt he received. Nice. So we want the Praisers and the ring at least. Let's buy those for now. I'm gonna come back with for the other items later, but that's all I have money for right now. It enables migration. So what does Resolve and Constitution exactly do? Endurance, so health, and concentration deficient fuel. So tanky stats. Two might and constitution actually would be nice. Because it's more damage and it's more health. I think Aloth could use that.